Yeah.
I see you, Shantae. Welcome on in. Let me just go ahead and get started. Hold on. We grabbing our daily heartbeat. We liking the live. Blessed believer, I see you. Welcome on in.
From Island roots to Miami sun, scholars mind the work well done. Healthcare vision, steady and
Hold on, let me get everything set up.
Cultural bridges bold and wide, seeing people through deeper eyes, not just degrees framed on a wall, but lifting futures one and all. He studies systems, breaks them down, builds new leaders from the ground, shows professionals where they fit, hands them lights, says walking in, leaning, don't miss the gem, knowledge flowing, fill the room again. Tuesday nights at 7 sharp, he speaks with mind and he speaks with heart, leaning. There's space for you. Students, teachers, dreamers, too. From classroom halls to the live stream glow. Dr. Johnson. Viral waves, but steady soul. Purpose bigger
Ocean
than
Summits, I see you. Welcome on in. Let me go ahead and send it out.
Respect and honor shape the space. Rules of
We are grabbing our daily heartbeat. We are liking the live.
Teaching how to move along. Pouring into every voice. Keep showing up, that's your choice. Professor, mentor, entrepreneur, Caribbean rhythm at his core. Like a true Jamaican doing it all. Answering purpose every call. Step into the world he built.
Let me go ahead and send it to my guests. Give me one moment.
Where students find their courage back. And professionals stay on track. From healthcare halls to creative light, Onyx frames the beauty bright. Melanin shining, style with care, capturing confidence everywhere. Two worlds, one steady flame.
I see you guys sharing out the live. We are grabbing. I'm screaming. Welcome everybody. We are grabbing our daily heartbeat. We are liking the live. We're just waiting for our guests to come on up, and then I'm going to start bringing them up. Y'all get comfy. Miss Crystal, I see you. I appreciate you being here. L, you see I got the boards. I did it. You guys, let me tell you something. I've been doing this for a year now. I'm learning. I'm still learning. I'm not a TikToker. I got the boards. I've been dying to do these boards. But everybody, welcome to the Men's Health Summit. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm waiting for my guests to come on up, okay? Stevie, I see you. Welcome on in. El Meek, you see me. I see you, El Meek.
Rising all around from Island.
Let me just go ahead and get it put to my story.
The future strong, where culture and care belong. Office hours, hearts ignited, knowledge shared and love
united. I see you, Dr. Lolo. Hold on, we just waiting for my guests to come on in. Lady Red, I see you. Is my guest coming, Lady Red? Thank you so much for the repost. Let me just restart. And also, you guys, shout out to El Meek in the chat. She's one who created 2 of my songs, so that's what we're listening to today. So we don't have no copywriting on YT. I see you. So everybody, we are grabbing our daily heartbeat. We are liking the live. And we're going to get started soon. Be on our break, but glad. Dr. Lola, let me tell you something. I was looking for you the other day too, so I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're back, okay? And sometimes we need that break. Mr. Stevie, I see you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the popular votes. Get comfy. Today is a Men's Health Summit. We're talking about some good stuff today, okay? So we waiting for my guests to come on up.
From Island roots to Miami sun, scholars mind the work well done. Healthcare vision, steady and teaching others how to stand. Cultural bridges bold and wide, seeing people through deeper eyes, not just degrees framed on a wall, but lifting futures one and all. He studies systems, breaks them down, builds new leaders from the ground, shows professionals where they
fit. Let me just send it out.
Them lights says walking in, leaning, don't miss the gem, knowledge flowing. Reading, there's space for you. Students, teachers, dreamers,
We are
too,
grabbing our
from
daily heart me. We are
classrooms to
reposting the
the live
live.
stream
Dr.
glow.
J, I see you.
Dr.
Welcome.
Johnson
Thank you
left
so
you
much for
a
being here. I see you,
viral
Dr.
wave,
J.
but steady soul. Purpose bigger than a scroll. In every room, we model grace, respect and honor.
Okay, I see.
I
Mr.
said,
J, I
Doctor,
see
came
you.
back just for you.
Sub God, I know, I heard. Our mutual friend told me you was, was taking a brief hiatus. So I appreciate you for being here. We waiting on one more
Anything for you,
guest.
Doc. Anything for you. You know it.
Thank you so much. We waiting on one more guest, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Yeah, Lady Red. Lady Red already gave me the rundown. She
I
gave me the
got you.
rundown. Okay, so
Got
give me
you.
one moment. Let me message my guest.
Oh, yeah.
And honor shape the space. Rules of engagement clear and strong. Teaching how to move along. Pouring into every voice. Keep showing up, that's your choice. Mentor, entrepreneur, Caribbean rhythm at this core. Like a true Jamaican doing it all. Answering purpose every call. Step into the world he built.
Dr. Michelle, I see you. Welcome on in.
The skills where students
Ocean
find
Summers, I
their
see you.
courage
Welcome on
back.
in. We're waiting for another guest, and we're going to go ahead and get started.
From healthcare halls to creative light, Onyx frames the beauty bright. Melanin everywhere. Two worlds, one steady flame. Impact greater than the name. Drim, 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 drim. Leaning, don't miss the sound. Wisdom rising all around from island pride to global view. He makes the path more clear for you.
Yeah.
Leaning, the future strong. Where culture and care belong. Office hours, hearts ignited. Knowledge shared and love united.
Okay, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So just before we get started, one of our guests has an emergency with his mom. So a lot of times we are caregivers first. Okay, so one of our panels had an emergency with his mom, so he couldn't be here tonight. But we have the other guests will be here when he gets here because he's wrapping up at work. You see, can I have two people just drop in the chat men's mental health? Okay, two people drop in the chat men's mental health because the show still got to go on. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. And when our third guest comes on in, I'll go ahead and bring him up. First of all, how is the audio in the chat? Miss Crystal, I see you. Thank you for that. How is the audio? Thumbs up in the chat if the audio is good. Sub God, can you hear me? Mr. Drake, can you hear me? Audio is good? Perfect. Okay. Okay, it's good. Okay, thank you, Lady Red. Thank you, Dr. Henry. I see you. We're gonna go ahead and get started. We all know what we're here for today. Okay, June is also men's mental health awareness month. It's important. These conversations are important, especially among the Black and brown communities. We have to talk about these important topics that we're going to go through today. Okay, so first and foremost, I also want to thank Sub God and also Mr. Dre Johnson for stepping in to office hours and being a part of this conference and sharing their subject matter expertise. Okay, so we all know who I am. Don't need no introduction. And some of us, we might be pressed for time. Okay, I see you, Miss Crystal. Black Kings Matter. We all do. This whole panel matters. But I want to turn it over to my two panels so far and just provide us just a brief professional and educational background. Obviously, this is rundown. Yeah, I'm gonna let them run down the resume. This is social media, so whatever you want to feel comfortable sharing, you don't have to. We can use context clues. Okay. So, Mr. Drake Johnson, can we just get a brief educational and professional background, and then we'll go over to Mr. Subgod.
Yeah, so I'm Dre Johnson. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and qualified supervisor. I run a private practice and a small business where we offer mental health consulting training for-profit and nonprofit organizations throughout America. So yeah, that's pretty much the long and short. Oh, adjunct professor as well, but it's summer vacation time, so trying to enjoy a little bit of that leisure time. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Right. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Subgod. Brief professional and educational background. What you got going on? Who are you?
Who am I, right? Yeah, who am I? Still trying to figure that out. For me, went to Simmons University. I'm a licensed independent clinical social worker. Same thing, actually, licensed clinical social worker, depending on what state. Currently, I've had the privilege to have a year off, but I'm in my year off. I'm working at a private practice and in the process of starting my own here in both Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Also an adjunct at Simmons University. And yeah, that's really it. That's who I am in a nutshell.
I love that. We're gonna jump right into it, okay? Everybody here, we briefly interviewed SubGod recently, okay? So I want to start off with Mr. Johnson first. What inspired you to become a social worker? What, like, the social work space? What inspired you? What told you, hey, that's what I want to do. This is where I want to work. I want to start there.
Okay. All right. Good question. So growing up, I'm from Rochester, New York. It's upstate. It's like next to Buffalo. People don't know a lot about Rochester. It's like the third largest city in New York, right after New York City and Buffalo. Very, very high poverty rate. Like Rochester is always one of the top 10 most impoverished cities in America list. So people don't know this. People think like when you say upstate New York, they think it's like farms or something like that is what a lot of people have told me. But it's more like think like Philadelphia or Baltimore or Detroit. Because where there's high pockets of poverty, there's high pockets of crime, right? So Rochester was known as the murder capital of New York State for like 10 years, which is something a lot of people from my community kind of held their hat on. So growing up in my community, I saw a lot of crime, right? Like I saw drugs, I saw prostitutes, drug dealers. Like we was cool. Like a lot of these people I grew up with, and I was working when I was a teenager. I was like 18 years old. It was like summer vacation. I was just back from college. Like my major was communications. And I remember I was like working as like a camp counselor in like this, what do you call it? I don't know, nonprofit in the community. It's like community center. And we were taking the kids to the library. We were going on a little field trip. Libraries down the street, and a shootout started happening. And like I got 3 to 6 year olds, little kids. I had to get them. It's like 20 kids. I got to be hiding in somebody's like backyard in their driveway, like get down. This is long before the days of mass shootings, and like that wasn't really a thing. Like this was a shootout between 2 rival gangs. And I remember taking the kids back to the community center, and I asked the person who ran the center, her name is Miss Maggie, shout out to Miss Maggie. I said, Miss Maggie, how do you run this center? Because this center is so needed. These kids need this. What did you study in school? And she was like, social work. And I was like, to do this, you did social work? Because, at that time, I didn't know social work. I thought that was you taking people's kids. So when she said social work, I went back to school, changed my major to social work, and the rest is history, as they say.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your story. If you guys can tell in the chat, you see, we are healthcare professionals first. So all these keywords, I appreciate you guys in the chat for dropping the F1. And I heard that you guys say in GTA because there's certain keywords we can't say on TikTok because we love the TikTok and we love the TikTok shop, and it's very serious. So Dr. Henry, I see you. Miss Crystal, I see you guys holding me down in the chat. So F1 in the chat when necessary, please. Okay, I want to continue. Mr. SubGod, I want to ask you, why social work? Okay, what got you into this space? I know already, but can you share with the new folks?
Yeah,
what
so
got you inspired with social work?
So because we did the interview, I'll keep it extra short. I had a social worker before I had my first tooth. You know what I mean? I'm also from New York. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I was born into the system, foster care from birth, and things like that. So I navigated these streets. I was again system involved from the beginning. I was always interested in what social workers did, but again, like the brother said, I thought they just took kids, you know what I mean? Because that was my only interaction with them was we used to call it BCW back in the days, you know what I mean, in New York. So, but again, it was always in the back of my mind, kind of would be cool, something to do. But when I got out of the military, dealing with my own mental health issues, I was almost forced to go into therapy. And I was so resistant when I came in there because it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a safe. But I got an awesome therapist, and I was so pushing back so much that she said to me, like, if you think, you're so knowledgeable, won't you try it? And I was like, okay. And we made going back to school for because my MSW is my second master's. So we went going back to school, part of the treatment plan. And never looked back. Never looked back. It was something I found a piece of me within social work. So yeah, that's what brought me back. And I heal a little bit with it as well. I think that's also the part of that I was healing along with learning you know, about my profession and things of that nature. So yeah, that's what brought me to the field.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. So my third guest just came on, and Mr. Joseph, you just jumped right into the thick of things. Okay, can we briefly get a brief professional educational background? What you got going on? Who is Mr. Joseph? I know who you are, but can you let my people know who are you? What you got going on, sir? Brief
For
introduction.
sure.
I know you pressed for time, so I appreciate you being here. But just brief introduction. Let them folks know what you got going on.
All right. First off, let me just say, um, you know, Dr. Johnson, I really appreciate you, having me on your platform. You know who I am, of course. We go way back. An amazing person, not only a doctor, but amazing person. I just wanted to give you your flowers right away.
Appreciate you. Thank
Um,
you.
of course. And let me just say good evening to all my black men on here. How y'all doing?
Peace, brother.
Bless. A little bit about me. For starters, Joseph, I started playing football. All I knew was really sports. And then I had like a traumatic injury in college, and I just switched over to modeling. I started doing modeling, and then from modeling, I got into acting, and then from acting, the doors started to open. But it really started with sports. Sports. That's why right now I'm really into fitness. I'm a full-time personal trainer and life coach. I'm into fitness. I love to see people feel good about themselves. I love to see people change their lifestyles. And that's what I always inquire in anything, feeling good and being in shape.
Right. Mr. Joseph, thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh,
Mr. Johnson, we probably cousins, okay? Because we probably all got,
hey, you never know.
I almost just hesitated when I said Johnson. I was like, wait, that's my name, but we probably cousins. But sure, let me come back to you. For those, before we jump into it, everybody who's just joining on in, welcome to the Men's Mental Health Summit. We have my Black Kings up here on the panel today. We are going to be discussing a variety of questions, a variety of topics as it relates to personal fitness and physical wellness. We're going to be discussing mental health, which is key. We're going to be discussing the importance of routine health checkups and preventative care. We're also going to get into higher education and lifelong learning, because there's always something for us to learn. Okay, that's a part of life. We're also going to wrap it up with representation and visibility. Okay. Before I continue, a thumbs up or praying hands is me acknowledging you guys in the chat. I do not want to interrupt my guests as they are dropping their gems. Okay. Can I have 2 people drop my subject matter expert stickers in the chat before I continue? Sweet Pete, I see you. Thank you so much for being here. Dr. Michelle Henry, I see you. I appreciate you. Mr. Johnson, I want to come back over to you. What life experiences shaped your views on health or wellness overall?
So I think similar to JoJo, I grew up in athletics. I always say it was a privilege to have my father in my life. You know what I mean? Like he played basketball, so he used to run. So he taught me everything he knew. So I grew up playing organized basketball and competing since as soon as I start walking. I got pictures of I can't even walk yet, and I'm throwing the ball into the Fisher Price court. So for me, like fitness and like health, it just always was like a part of who I was. I was always like, hey, I want to be the leader at gym class, right? Like, so that was always something. But mental health was something that really was a super stigma in my community, as you could imagine. But similar to what JoJo said, like when I was a senior in high school, but a little bit different, I was ruled ineligible to compete in athletics. I was a top track and field athlete. I was ranked top 20 in the country. I had a lot of Division I offers. And my senior year, I transferred schools, and they ruled me ineligible to compete my entire senior year. And so with that, I lost all my D1 opportunities, and I was in a really dark place, right? Like because so much of my identity was athletics. I would go places, and you get the privileges when you're an athlete. They'd be like, "Yo, Dre Johnson, what are you doing back there in line, man? Come on up here, man. Like we trying to pay that, man. Your money not good here, man. Get out of here." Like what? So you're getting all of the love, you're getting all of that treatment, right? And then you go places and people, adults, they know you grown men, be like, yo, you number 3 from the basketball team, man. You did your thing against Marshall, you did your thing against such and such, or hey, you the anchor on the relay, you know what I'm saying? So like that was who I was. So it got to a point where when they said you can't compete in any sports, and all of the colleges was like, yeah, you can't get in off your athletic ability. I was like, well, who am I then? If I'm not an athlete, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I didn't even know what to, bro. I used to play so many sports. It was like basketball season, football season, and track season all together that I didn't even know what bus to get on to get home because I was so used to staying after school for practice. So when they said I couldn't compete, I was like, well, what am I supposed to do now? So it really put me in a dark space. And I thank God that I had my father in my life, you know, because I didn't want to continue at school. I wanted to drop out. And he was like, nah, you're going to go to school. We're going to figure something out. And the coach that was supposed to be my coach my senior year, he really just pulled me in under his wing. He was a school counselor. So he went to school for school counseling. So he already kind of had a little mental health background. And he just took me under his wing. And that is what really made me realize, like, you know what? We can talk to black men. Like, we can have those relationships. I never really had those relationships, especially outside of athletics, like people on my team. So to see that somebody cared about me past athletics, that's what really kind of made mental health seem kind of not so far, but like closer within reach.
Right. Mr. J, thank you so much for sharing that story. And thank you so much for being vulnerable. And you mentioned something key. You had your father in your life. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for feeling comfortable to share that, because there's a lot of men who don't have their father in their life. And when you talk about you having your father in life, you don't want it to ever come off across as being, you know, boasting and bragging. But thank you so much for sharing that and be feeling comfortable to share that, because somebody else needed to hear that. Mr. Joseph, I know you pressed for time. Y'all, he's in his gear. Okay, he got his clients to go train at his facility, so he can't stay too long. But we're gonna come back over to you, Jojo. Okay?
Yeah, but you know, I'm gonna make sure that, you know, I honor time. Even though I'm pressed, I got you.
I appreciate it. Let me start off with you. How does fitness contribute to overall health beyond physical appearance? What would you say?
Well, to piggyback off of what Dre said, Dre, what you said, honestly, bro, it hit me while you were talking, because I know exactly how you feel when you was talking about how when you play sports, like for me, I started off, I wasn't in the United States, I was in Haiti. So I started off in Haiti, but you know, listen, whatever you find, whatever ball on the street, you playing soccer. Like, you know, it's inevitable if you live in Haiti to not be kicking a ball around the city playing soccer. So I always, very similar to you, I started young, like doing something. And I'm very thankful. I have my father in my life as well. I see the flag. Mon Lakai, I see the flag. But yeah, I have my father in my life. But unfortunately, I won't even say like he was absent. He was trying to look for a better life. So my father came here to the United States like in the early 90s when I was still in Haiti. But he would always check on us. He would always, you know, send money and take care. But he was trying to make sure that we could come here permanently. But with fitness, the reason why it was so important to me is because, and it fell under my identity, is because one thing I can say in the United States versus Haiti, one thing I did notice is day and night, because a lot of the people in Haiti, and I know Jamaica or any other island is very similar, you're always walking and you got something in your head, you're always walking. So you don't really see obese people in the islands versus when you come to the United States, because it's a lot more convenient. You got a car, you got drive-throughs from left to right. A lot more people are fortunate to finance a car, which you don't have in the islands. And what I noticed is, you know, I got out of sports, and I remember my sister used to say, I don't think you understand your impact. My sister would always tell me that. And my father would tell me that as well. They're like, listen, you get people to work out and you make it fun, and they start feeling better about themselves. They start feeling more confident. You get them out of a dark place. Why not go into personal training? And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I'm an athlete. I know how to catch a ball and run it. I know drills. And my sister would always say, trust me, if you have that leader mentality, what you show them, they'll follow. And then always, you know, inquired in your life as well. So it became a dopamine for me. It got me out of a dark place. Like Dre said earlier, it got me out of a dark place. And then one thing I started noticing is with fitness, the minute you start feeling good, you start thinking good, you start doing better. You know, it's so easy to doubt yourself in so many things. But if you're giving yourself at least 30 to an hour a day and you're disciplined and you're working on yourself, you feel like you don't have you don't have any obstacles to come across. Like you feel like, okay, if I could do this, I can go walk up to this girl in Chipotle and say, hey, how you doing? Do you work here? What do you do on your free time? Like it builds confidence. It builds discipline and confidence. So that's what my identity behind fitness is.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Mr. Johnson, I want to come back over to you. I want you to kind of tap into your fitness and also your clinical social work background. Well, what role does nutrition play in long-term health and disease prevention from your perspective? Before you answer, as we're going through these questions, y'all, there's no right or wrong answer. There's a reason why each and every one of you are up here. I want you guys to drop your gems. I want you guys to share your experiences overall. So there's no right or wrong answer. Once again, Mr. Johnson. Oh, that's a mad word to say. What role does nutrition play? What role does nutrition play in long-term health and disease prevention?
Man, so many diseases that we get as Black folks are preventable based on our dieting and nutrition. And so, like, the reason I name my practice Wellness State is because I really like to take a holistic approach, systems approach. So even if I'm seeing someone for psychotherapy and it's like one of my like therapy clients, we're still talking about their physical well-being, because here in the Western world, the West, they like to make it seem like there's mental health and then there's physical health.
Right.
When in reality of it is, it's just your health. Like it's all literally one thing. So, and that's an approach that I take. So we talk about stuff like that, like, hey, how is your eating? How is your sleeping? Those are big in terms of athletics, like performance, but they're big in terms of performance at your job too. You got a presentation on Friday, but you saying you didn't go to sleep till 4:30 in the morning. You had to be up at 7. That's not going to work. How do you expect to perform well at work if you're not eating and sleeping properly? So that's something that we talk about regularly. But I think, again, just so many of the diseases we get later, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, COPD, all these things that we develop later on in life, whether it's arthritis, tendonitis, all these things are preventable with dieting and exercise. I do just want to say I'd be remiss not to mention the systems piece. I'm a systems thinker. We don't live in food deserts. We live in what's called food apartheid. Like deserts is something that happens naturally. Food apartheid is a systemic thing. It is systematic. Like they intentionally remove grocery stores from my community. So we don't have anything to eat but honey buns, Takis, and all that bull stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that we have to name that as well. Poverty is real. I don't think we're choosing to kill ourselves with McDonald's and stuff like that. It's what we have access to. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Coach Rhonda, I see you. Welcome on in. Ms. Nike, I see you. Welcome on in. Crystal said, we preaching today. And for those of you just joining on in, welcome to the Men's Health Summit. It's all about men's mental health, okay? So we going to tap into some topics. God, I want to come over to you. What would you say are some barriers that prevent Black and brown men from prioritizing their fitness and their overall wellness? Oh, the audio. You on mute, sir. You on mute.
Came off mute. I'm sorry. I mean, you have a number of things. You have everything from work to stress to family responsibilities, you know, even just having the proper education. Like what these brothers up here talking about, I'm literally actually taking notes as they're talking and things like that, right? Because I think when we're talking about what the challenges are, right, and we're looking at why individuals are making decisions, we have to look at their choices, like what's available to them. And sometimes individuals are pressed for time. Sometimes even the idea of working out, like, do I go to the gym? Where does it start? Even just making those choices can be anxiety provoking and things. So I kind of look at the brother even talked about as far as systems. I also think about, you know, how so much of that is cultural and has, you know, so much to do with, you know, adaptations that the person has basically kind of acclimated to their environment over time, which causes them to kind of avoid or pursue certain things. So I kind of look at that, like it's a number of things that particularly Black and brown men face every day. And sometimes their health gets pushed to the back, right? It is not a priority, and other things. And also through this capitalist system doesn't prioritize health, right? It literally, it looks at people as a commodity, right? So, you know, when we're talking about our personal health, that is something that is for us. And we live in a system that the last thing we are told to do, that we are indoctrinated to do, is prioritize sales. It's all about production, how much you're making, who you're making it for, and things like that. And again, like I said, often our health gets pushed to the back.
Right. Can I have 2 people drop my subject matter expert stickers in the chat for my panel, please? Mr. Johnson, I want to come over to you and you lead us into mental health, the section of mental health, okay? Ms. Mika, I see you. Welcome on in. Ash, I see you. Welcome on in. Welcome to the Men's Health Summit. We just wrapped up some personal fitness and physical wellness questions. Now we're going to get into the good stuff, the mental health topic, okay? So we are going to lean in. And I also have 2 people drop the lean in stickers because we leaning in, okay? They're about to drop some gems. Mr. Johnson, how do you define mental wellness and what does it look like in your everyday life?
Mental wellness, again, for me, I just consider it wellness because I can't see how I would be well without my mental being intact, right? Like you could have the body chiseled like a Greek god, but if you are losing your mind, you have nothing. You know what I mean? And so I think people really recognize this during COVID. I would say that's a time where a lot of people woke up and realized, like, man, you took so many things for granted. Your health was one of those things when you got sick, and some people thought they were dying, and God knows a lot of people did die. But I think, wellness to me looks like, how do you feel? Really, forget about how you look. Even if you work out, like I'll just real quick, I had a client that said to me, this was a few months ago, she said, I feel like I've plateaued in terms of my fitness journey. Like I've been working out and I feel like I actually am not seeing any gains. Like I've been going to the gym for a month, but I feel like I'm not looking any differently. So I don't know if I should still continue to go anymore.
Right.
What should I do? I said, well, let me ask you this. When you go to the gym and you work out, when you leave, how do you feel? She's like, no, I mean, I feel like I'm getting good workouts. Like I get a good workout in, but like when I leave, I feel good. But, and I just cut her off. I said, well, then keep going.
Right.
Well, then keep going. So I was like, I want us to shift from how you look to how you feel, right? Because again, that's the big piece that people don't really talk about as much. Yeah, with fitness, a lot of people see like, I want to be chiseled like JoJo. You know what I'm saying? I want to look like Tyrese or whatever the case. Like, hey, listen, that ain't everybody's ministry. You know what I'm saying? Let's focus on the feelings for a second. So to me, wellness is, how do we feel when we wake up, when we go to bed? Like, am I able to climb up the stairs to my apartment on the 2nd floor? That to me is what wellness looks like. Do I feel good? Like I focus on the feelings, I always say.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Mr. George, I want to come over to you because I see you, sir. What are some common misconceptions about mental health among men that you would say, that one or two that you would want to highlight? Misconceptions about mental health as it relates to men.
I think one big misconception is comparison is the thief of joy. Just to piggy off of what Dre said, great call out. Even with me being a trainer and stuff. And it's funny because I had a story very similar to that, but it was with a gentleman. And he's been training with me for about 2 years now. Went from 300 pounds to about 195. So big accomplishment. And I remember when we would go for our walks or we'll be doing like abs to close out. And I always tell him I'm so proud of him because one, he said he wanted to take his life at one point. He was so obese. He had a heart attack that he survived. So, we'll get into these heart to hearts. And the first thing he says to me is like, I'm not chiseled like you though.
Right.
And I always tell him, I said, look where you came from. You had a heart attack. Okay. You said that just standing up, but you were breathing hard. You didn't see your purpose on this earth. But now you're motivated every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to train. And not only that, it brought your confidence. You had a bar mitzvah a couple of months ago that you went to, and you said you haven't worn a suit in 20 years. And you had to get it tailored because the suit you had was too big. That's mental. That alone is, to me, is like the misconception because we're always looking at the next person and we're comparing ourselves. Whereas we should really look at what we came from and where we're at versus comparing. That's one. And I would say the second misconception of fitness is when people think we're vain, or people think that that's all that it pertains to. You'll be surprised. Sometimes I'm at Walmart just checking out, and some guy's like, "What's your PR?" I just came to buy gum and milk. Like, I'm like, but how you doing? How's your day going so far? Like as if we don't know what's going on in the country, as if we don't get the press, as if we don't deal with life like everybody else. We may use fitness as a dopamine, but it's not our identity.
Okay. Okay. Can I have 2 subject matter expert stickers in the chat, please? Mr. Subgod, I want to hear from you. How can men of color recognize stress, anxiety, or depression may require professional support? Because oftentimes we're big on, oh, I'm gonna handle that shit. I'm a G. I'm gonna handle that myself. I'm not gonna sit on that lady couch. I'm not gonna talk to another black man for that. Have buddy judge me. I'm gonna just figure this out on my own. Let me repeat the question one more time, okay? How can men of color recognize when stress, anxiety, or depression may require professional support?
Okay. First of all, I appreciate that question. And it kind of ties into the previous question. Sometimes the misconception about therapy is that things have to go wrong in order, you know what I mean? Therapy can be many things to many people. Therapy can be where you reflect. Therapy can be where you go to maintain certain things. Therapy can go to, I call it sometimes it's the oil change. You know what I mean? You just kind of been going hard and you kind of just want to take a, take a breather, kind of reassess some things, right? So when it comes to that, just I'm sorry, I lost my thought. Hold on, let me get it back. Hold on. Sorry. So when it comes to like recognizing that you may need help, I would look around my life. I would look at, how's my appetite? Is there changes in my appetite? Is there changes in my sleep pattern? I also listen, right? Listening to what my family says, listening to, when people say you don't seem the same, or, hey, what's going on with you? Are you suddenly quick to anger? Like, are there thoughts in your head that easily don't go away? Are there thoughts in your head? And even, I don't know what's the rules around the word, right? But when, it's something I saw the other day and it was so true. Like, do you find yourself saying, I'm just tired. I just need some sleep, right? And when you say that, we know the difference between, I'm freaking tired. You need to, between that and passive SI, to when somebody's like, I want to sleep, or you hear it's like, I just wish I sleep and just not wake up. Right? Like when we start hearing these things, right? And I tell people when there's a consistent disconnect between you and your everyday environment, are you able to get up and work? Are you able to get up and work and be happy? Are you able to go do anything that makes you happy? Are you still happy doing the things that used to make you happy, right? When the answer is no to any of these, you know what I mean? I would start looking into services, but also there's a caveat to that. Even the idea of finding mental health services, therapy, whatever the case may be, again, can be anxiety provoking, right? Finding a provider, right? Particularly finding a provider of color. If you want a brother of color, trust me, when they say we are unicorns, we are unicorn. For real, right? Brother, am I lying? You know what I'm saying, Trey?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I think the numbers fluctuate between 2 to 5% in social work that are black brothers. You get what I mean? So imagine you actually do decide to go, or you do decide to seek help, and it's just like, where do I start? You get what I mean? I think for me, and it may sound cliche, the first step is just acknowledging that I may need some help. And we got the fitness brothers up here real quick, and I just want to make an analogy, right? The bros is up here. Listen, I got a little belly. I'm trying to get like y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get you.
But you know what? Just to piggyback off what you said about us being like unicorns, right? Yeah. One thing that I love that you said, and believe it or not, me, and I know Dre, you probably have done this as well. I've had days where I've had clients come in to train, and they would straight up tell me, like, I'm overwhelmed. My son's graduating, he needs a car. And you know what I tell them? I said, let's not hit the weights. Let's go into the break room, let's talk. And I just let them talk. The whole hour of the session, sometimes people just need somebody to hear them. I used to Uber for a little, and let me tell you guys, when I had to go drop off liquor at night, when you need the code in order to give it to them, man, they would tell me, do you mind sitting on the porch? And I'm just like, sure. You hand them the liquor. And sometimes people just need somebody to talk to. And just give them a hug. And
it's not even sometimes. I think that's the majority of times.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
Especially when people will tell so much to a stranger because one, you ain't got no dog in a fight. You really, I really can't judge you because I don't know you. I'm gonna go to mine. You're gonna go to yours, right?
Exactly.
So I think that objectivity is a major thing. You know what I mean? When it comes to that. So first of all, I just want to say I love you, brother, for that, because so often individuals, particularly men, right? They will reach out for help in our own way. It looks different, right? It looks different. It sounds different. And often they will get man up. They'll be like, you'll be all right? They'll get those. Yeah. Or we'll get the, hit this, drink this, right? Because you want to numb that. You don't want to feel that no more. That's what the person's saying. Or listen, I don't have the capacity for it, right? Ooh, yeah. And I want to add the fact that you did one of the most important things that professionals and at a professional level and personal level is that you just remain present in whatever they came with, right?
Exactly.
You didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Just being present will save a life. I tell people, just shut the hell up and let them talk.
Right. That's it.
That's it. Shut up. Go ahead. You got the floor. And how many of us go through our daily lives, day in, day out, and it's always dedicated to others? It's the work, it's the family, it's this. At what point are we the center? At what point do we have the opportunity to say, this is what I feel, this is what my experience has been, and someone just say, yo, listen, I'm here. And listen, it's not often. It is not often.
Right.
I like that.
Right. I appreciate you guys. Mr. Johnson, I want to come back over to you and kind of piggyback off of that question, okay? But what advice would you give to someone who is hesitant to seek counseling or therapy? What you gonna tell that young black boy or that young black boy who's going through something, but they're kind of hesitant to seek therapy?
Good question. That's not one that I've had to really answer directly. A lot of times people come to me when they already want support, right? Like, and most of the people that I'm around, like, they know me, so I've humanized the profession in a way that I didn't see when I was growing up. Right. The social worker in my school, she was from, middle-aged white lady, and I just didn't feel like I could connect with her or she would really understand what I was going through. So I think for me, like, the people in my circle, if people know me, they already feel like, oh, I kind of already want to come. Right. So, like, a lot of times, I have clients and, like, a mom might be like, hey, I want my son, he's a teenager, I want him to get into therapy, but he don't want to go. How do I get him to go to therapy or whatever? Sometimes I'm like, hey, it's not a matter of if he want to go or not. He gonna go if you put him in there. He didn't want to go to that school you put him in. You put him in there anywhere, right? So put him in therapy, see how it goes, and then allow him to make the decision. Sometimes they come. I always tell moms or dads that say, hey, I want to get my son or daughter in therapy with you. Cool, I say, but I'm not forcing nobody to be here. So if they come, we're gonna give it 3 sessions. If they not willing participant in 3 sessions, I'm not gonna do it. Because I believe that people have to come when they're ready. That old adage of you can take a horse to the pond, but you can't make them drink. I don't care how good you are as a clinician and what modalities you use. If a person is not ready, it will not work. They have to be ready. There has to be something called the readiness to change. And a lot of times people don't even recognize that they have a problem, right? Just a quick analogy. I don't know if y'all remember that show. It's called My Big 600-Pound Life or something like that. And sometimes you turn the show on, they all start the same way. Dude or lady is like, I don't really have a problem. I'm just a little bit big bone or something. Like, the doctor says I'm pretty healthy other than my weight. Like, they don't even recognize they have a problem. So you trying to sell them a fitness program, they're like, for what? Like, I'm okay. Like, I just could change my eating and I'll be all right. They don't even recognize they have a problem yet. So sometimes it's just a matter of, like, I'm not in the business of selling anything to anybody. Like, that's not my ministry. Like, when the good Lord call you and it's your time, it's your time. I'm not really trying to coerce nobody to go. I'm like, hey, we give it 3 sessions. A lot of times they come and they're like, oh, buddy is cool. Like, I didn't know this was what therapy was going to be. So a lot of times when they do come, if they're children, they usually end up staying. For adults, we have that turbulence. Sometimes you with it and sometimes you're not.
Right. I appreciate that. Everybody in the chat, I see you guys in the chat. I appreciate all the kind words. I see y'all in the chat.
He said 3 seconds and you're done. You're done.
But I actually like, and I'll just say this quick, Doc. I was just gonna say, I actually like what Dre said about that. Like the three, that world is literally the same world with fitness. I'll never forget, and I'll say this story quick. I remember I got my first job. I was working at LA Fitness. I won't go too much into that, but that was my first personal training job. If you know, you know. And I remember we would have days, like probably the Mondays or the Tuesdays of the week, where it's like dead slow. And the GM would say, yo, hit the floor and, try to get personal training. And I remember I'll go to the floor. Let's say I see you, Dre, and you're doing a bicep. And I'll say, hey, the way you're doing that looks pretty good, but I can show you a way to do it more effectively. And people would roll their eyes. Like, bro, I got 25 minutes before I got to get to work and you irking me. Right. And I remember I came to him one day and this was like the icing on the cake. I told my gym, I'm like, listen, anybody who wants to do personal training will come up and go to the office. They will say, look, I want to do a change. Right. We don't need to keep walking up to people on the floor with their headphones on. Tap, tap, tap. When you ready, you will come. And I like that you said that. You gave him 3 sessions. I don't even give him one.
3.
I don't even give him one.
Yo, Doc, can I add something real quick? Because it's beautiful that what the brothers are talking about. Because also, I want to say how dangerous that can be by forcing somebody. Yeah. Individuals have certain relationships with, I tell them that you have relationships with people, places, things, thought processes, and memories, right? So when someone comes in, particularly even kids, right, and something's going on, and we say like something's going wrong, in their eyes, it's not wrong. I have a certain relationship with this behavior, or even if it's a substance. I love my beer, or I love the drink. I'm not ready for that. Right. So by forcing someone into a circumstance, you're now, think about if somebody tried to tear your wife away or your girl away, right? You know what I mean? What would you do? You'd fight to keep her. Right. Well, that's the thing. They have an intimate connection, relationship, right, with said thing, behavior, whatever the case may be. So when they're in that pre-contemplative stage, we say, right, that pre-contemplative, like I don't even know it's a problem or I don't even consider it a problem. Just imagine that person with their arms around someone, and here you come, a stranger, saying, hold on, wait a minute, let me get in between this. Right. What? I'll lay you out. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Wait, what are you doing? Right? And here's the crazy thing is the worst case scenario is they let you get in there. What do you have to replace it with? They have to be ready to not only alter the relationship with the behavior, thought process, whatever the case may be, you as a professional have to offer something to now fill that space that was that you created from that, right? So like I said, if they're not ready for that, and that in itself can be a lot, they're not ready. Now, I'm not trying to force you. I'm not trying to force you because again, it'll put you it'll put a very bad taste in your mouth for fitness, for mental health, and for me as a professional, right? So I would rather you walk away, figure out things on your own, come back to maybe even another provider, and not have that be a negative experience.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate all that. Can I have some subject matter expert stickers in the chat, please? Educator Hobbs, I see you. Welcome on in. Mr. Marvin, I see you. Welcome on in. Ms. Mika, I see you. I see you, Ms. Mika. Mr. George, are we good on time? I got you for a couple more questions. We good?
Yeah, we good. I'll cut off at 7:55.
Okay, perfect.
Because I'm only like 6 minutes away from the gym.
Okay, no problem. Sweet Pea, I see you. I see you, Sweet Pea. Mr. Jojo, why are routine health screenings and annual checkups important? Keep in mind, aside from mental health, yes, this is a mental health panel. Aside from mental health, statistically, men don't be want to go to the doctor. Men don't be want to go check if their belly hurt. They rather go drink some tea before going to the doctor. If something else is going on, they would just figure it out along with their mental health. Once again, why are routine health screenings and annual checkups important?
I think that's a really good question. And I'm going to tell you why it's so important to me, but I got a story to share with you guys. I remember I was talking to one of my coworkers, and the first thing I told him, I said, bro, like, when the last time you got checked? He said, bro, my girl does her checks up all the time, and she the only girl I'm with. So if she good, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wait, what? He's like, if she good, I'm good. So he always looked at like going to do checkups or anything else as a waste of time. And this is what I told him. I was like, all right, bro, I'm gonna tell you something. For me, I love clarity. And when you stay in a mental state of mind, getting normal checkups, they prevent so many things. There's some people who unfortunately lost their lives because they ended up having stage 4 cancer and they never got a yearly checkup or anything. That could have been prevented. You know what I mean? Or there could be a guy who's spreading around an STD that could have been curable, but you don't yearly go get yourself checked. You probably saying, you know what? I'm good. I don't feel anything. And you just going about your business and you're affecting other people. So I think it's very important for your mental clarity. And then I think it's an energy thing. I feel like when you're somebody who's disciplined, you're somebody who yearly gets yourself checked, or, you know, you go and you take care of your body and your mental, it aligns with other people when you're communicating with them. Because it's kind of hard for me to tell XYZ, hey, you know, it's not a bad idea. Why don't we go get an STD test full panel together when I never did it. Right. You know, I'm nervous to even bring that up if I never did it, but if I already did it and I know the process, I can help somebody and kind of take that anxiety away and kind of open up and help the next guy to help the other guy. So I think it's really important for the energy and the mental capacity.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Mr. Johnson, I want to come over to you. What health conditions disproportionately affect men of color and should be receiving greater attention from your perspective, from your experience?
I will say, if you think about like prostate cancer, diabetes, obviously sickle cell, these things, and going to the doctor, routine screenings, routine checkups, they catch the silent killers.
Right.
I always say if you go early and detect it, it makes whatever you have, you're now working on managing it as opposed to fighting it, right? Like I know somebody, they just found out, well, one of my clients, they just found out that their mom had cancer a month ago and she died. She died already, right? Like, so within the detection of when they found out to now, like she passed in such a short amount of time. And so early detection is needed. But one little quick thing on this, even then, it's still difficult because in particularly Black women, when they go to see healthcare providers, they're often not given the same grace, the same level of care, the treatment that they deserve. And things are often overlooked and they're often swept to the side. Right. So, you know, I just say that because sometimes people, you know, Black women specifically, sometimes they do go to the doctor and it still doesn't get detected, right? And so now you're looking at a lawsuit or something like that because negligence. Like, how did you not see this? Right. And my mother or grandmother goes to the doctor regularly. She's not one of the people that's like scared to go to the doctor. So I just want to mention that caveat in there as well.
Right, that's so true. Dr. Lolo in the chat said maintenance is needed even if it's good. That's true. That is definitely true. Sub guy, you got something you want to add, or you good?
Well, I gotta agree. So yeah, especially what that brother said at the end about the disparities in care. I think when we're having these conversations, I say we always have to include the historical narrative in there. And historically, continuously, the healthcare system hasn't been very friendly to our people, right? And that includes the mental health side and therapy. Right. And that goes not just at the micro level when we're talking about provider to patient interactions, but all the way up to the research level, right? How we are omitted from many clinical research like efforts and campaigns and things like that. But then these very same treatments and these very same approaches, whether it's therapy, whether it's in the medical field, are applied to us. And we know that our situation, our bodies, there are some differences and things like that, or as far as differences in what our needs are. So I also want to mention that, again, going to the hesitancy, and there is a need, but there's also a need to regain some trust, right, for people of color to go to these providers. There has to be increased accountability, right, for these providers. Why are my Black women still dying at higher rates than everyone else, right? Again, why aren't there more why are we not talking about prostate cancer and all these other things in school, in college, and things like that? Why is health class not around anymore? Just by the way, I just found that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's my thing, right? You know, health class and stuff like that. So my whole thing is, and it's very interesting, even these providers, because I just saw a study the other day, and I think it was of Harvard Medical, and it was a couple of Ivy League schools, how providers are still operating under myths like Black people have a higher pain tolerance. They still believe that, right? So, and that's my thing, and I call out to my Black professionals, my social work brother here, my fitness brother there, that we actually have to do a better job at advocating too, because you're seeing this on the health side. You're the front line on the fitness side, and you're the front line on the social work side. You know, some individuals, they don't have the voice that, you know what I mean, or may not even have the platform like we do. So again, you know, kind of onus is on us too to speak up a little bit, just like that brother did, brought it up about the disparities that, you know what I mean, for Black women. So yeah, I just think too, like, you know, we have to look at the system. The system, you know, a lot of times we say the system is broken,
Right.
but it's not.
Right.
The system is working just the way they designed it, and they designed it without Black and brown folks involved and in mind. So yeah, the onus is on us, the professionals, to do a little bit more advocating for and with our people.
Right.
I'm big on that. I absolutely agree.
Mr. Joseph, I know you got to go right now, but just answer this last question for me, and then I want you to give this a closing statement, let the people know where they can find you and what you got going on your page. Okay? But what conversations should Black men have with their healthcare providers? What would you say? What conversations are you having with your Black people, your Black healthcare providers?
That's a very good question. For starters, I think us as Black men, we should do more research on knowing, one, about our bodies, as in if you're sexually involved, whether it's male or female, whatever preference, but really knowing I feel like sometimes we wait until something traumatic happens to ask that question. I think that question should be asked at the beginning when you're sitting with any doctor. Another important question I think that should also be asked is how to prevent me from getting on cholesterol or high blood pressure medication. Like asking a doctor, because a lot of doctors will tell you to exercise, but I feel like everybody's body is different. So probably a doctor telling you, hey, I think you'll do good in a spin class. But asking your doctor specifics that you can do before you get drugged up on medication. Because another thing that we don't talk about in the health, in the health industry, as much as there's good, I always say that they're low key the real drug dealers. If I could be completely transparent, because I had the gentleman that I told you that started with me that was 300 pounds. He told me all these medications he had to take on a daily basis. And of course, it may fix one thing, but it's breaking 10 other things. It would make him lethargic. It would make him not motivated. It would play in his mental, like where he's numbed or he's unoffing. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very important to ask, you know, how can I shift to the dopamine of fitness, working out, versus being drugged up on all these medications. Right. And the last thing I would say to ask doctors, I would say always check any cancerous areas. I think prostate is primary for men. Just asking if you're a smoker or anything, checking your lungs, like anything that's cancerous, always ask those questions as well. I appreciate you guys. It's always love to be on a platform with my kings. Guys, have an amazing night. Again, Dr. Johnson, appreciate you for having me aboard. Guys, you guys can find me at JoJo on TikTok, and on every other social media platform is Joseph B. Augustine. All right. It was a pleasure. Love you guys. Stay blessed. I gotta go.
Take care, Kay.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, I want to come back over to you. For those of you just joining on in, welcome to the Men's Health Summit. So far, we've gone over personal fitness and physical wellness. We've gone over mental health, and we're about to wrap up on routine health checkups and preventative care. Mr. Johnson, what are some simple health habits? What simple health habits can significantly improve the quality of life over time? What would you say?
I think start small.
Mhm.
Whatever you can fit into your schedule now. If you're like, hey, I'm super busy, I got this, I got that, whatever. Listen, if you really wanted to, you would. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can turn on the TV, you could go on Netflix or Hulu or YouTube and find a fitness, video, an at-home workout, right? Like, so you could start small. You don't even have to get a membership, because I do recognize that, like, poverty is part of the system that keeps you like, oh, I just can't afford to, right? Like, I got some clients like, yo, I got to be driving for Uber and Lyft when I'm not working at this job. I leave this job and I do that job. And I do that job until 1 a.m. I don't have time to go to the gym. And that's understandable, right? So I think starting small, it could be even just changing what you put into, you got to eat. One thing that you have to do is eat. So instead of, hey, I know McDonald's, fast food, whatever is convenient,
Mhm.
go to the grocery store. The same time you're going to spend in that Chick-fil-A line, same amount of time you could have ran in the store and grab you a packet of ground beef or some broccoli or some chicken or some fish. And you know what I'm saying? So I think just small steps can make a big difference. I don't think it has to be this huge overnight change where you're going to the gym 5 days a week. I say start small, do what you can, start to practice healthier habits, and then you'll see the rest will come.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. I want to briefly switch gears. Sub God, let's talk about higher education and lifelong learning. Okay. How has higher education influenced your personal and your professional growth overall?
Oh man, I would think about the expanded my language and my understanding and insight to some of these things,
Mhm.
right? Because I know what my lived experience has been, right? I've
Mhm.
been exposed to others who have similar lived experience, right? But I think having the knowledge and the support to now, or even just the words
Mm.
to express what it is that I've and beyond just the I feel, right? To give something to support why I feel the way I feel and things like that. Also, too, when it comes to critical thinking, right? Knowing that what I've seen and what I've experienced, that there's so many other layers to that, right? And just again, part of that was already there, but I think school really expanded that. And also, too, the brother said it earlier about even the way I look at problems now from that system's perspective, right? Or that person and environment perspective, realizing that sometimes we just have this binary linear way of talking about a problem or a problematic behavior, right? Realizing that is so interconnected with other things, right? And I think I get so excited when you're untangling. It's almost like you ever see a ball of Christmas lights, right? That's really what it is, right? I think so. I think a lot of that came from school, and again, I think school really was a pathway to a larger understanding. And I think even now, like in a PhD program, just having even a deeper understanding about from like a psychodynamic perspective about so many things that are in our subconscious that we're not even aware of,
Right.
right? And so I think for school just really opened my eyes to the different layers of life, different layers of experience, and also gave me the words and the language and the expanded a lexicon to really express it.
Right, right. Thank you so much for opening up this topic. I want to come back over to you, Mr. Johnson. What challenges do Black men often face in higher education settings? You can either share personal experience or what you've seen from your clients, but what challenges do Black men face in higher education settings? Let's wake that up.
As a person that teaches in higher ed, I'll speak from that side for a sec. So I was teaching at a university in New York,
Mhm.
and then I moved to South Florida. I currently live in Fort Lauderdale, and I
Mhm.
was teaching at a university here. And I remember I was speaking with one of the faculty here in Florida, and she said, and I was like, "Oh, this is different from when I've taught before." And she made this assumption that, like, I had never taught before. She's like, when have you taught before? Would you teach high school? I'm
Mm.
like, no, I was teaching at a university in New York. So I think some people think that you know, once you get the education and once you get the letters behind your name, that you no longer run into those same
Oh,
microaggressions and things like that, right? Like you don't. You still have those same microaggressions. You still have those same situations where people still don't believe you've earned your way there, even though you've earned your way there 5 times over what they've done. So I think we see that, you know, on the working side, and then I remember being a student at the time, you know, back when I was doing undergrad, and people are like, "Oh, did you get here on like an equal opportunity,
mm,
or like how did you make it in here? Like, what's your you know what I mean? So like you still had those things, you know. We still ran into those things. Those were some of the big challenges I faced. I worked with a lot of collegiate athletes, and they talk about the stress of being a person of color, being an athlete, being away from home. Uh, for a lot of us, you go through a level of culture shock you've never been through before because most of us, America is still so segregated. You know, I saw a study that said America is almost just as much segregated today as it was in 1955,
mm.
right? And that was just crazy to me to think about, but it's true. Like where I grew up, it's only black and Puerto Rican, and I mean that specifically. I don't mean like Cuban, Venezuelan. Like no. Where I'm from, it was just black folk and Puerto Rican. So when I got to college, it was this massive level of like culture shock where I experienced like I'm the minority now, and like not only just the suburban white folks. That's when I learned white folks is different too. I met rednecks and hillbillies, and this is what they called themselves. They was like, "Oh, I might be a redneck, but I ain't no hillbilly." I'm like, "Wait a minute, it's
It's
a difference."
different. Right.
What's the so they some of my white homeboys had to school me in college, man. You know, so I'm appreciative of higher education because the man you see today is not the man that went in, right? Like college changed me so much. You can ask my mom; she loved to talk about, "Oh, you ain't different now. You got a degree." I was like, "Come on now," but yeah, college, man, it saved my life. It gave me opportunities and opened doors that I don't know how I would have done without it. I had opportunity to study abroad in West Africa, and I completed my minor in African and African American studies.
Mhm.
Man, so many wonderful experiences I've had that have been shaped through those 4 years. So I'm always appreciative, but we go through so many things there. So that support system is huge in college as well, for sure.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. For those of you just joining on in, once again, I'm you. Welcome to the Men's Health Summer. We still have a couple more topics before we wrap up. God, I want to come back over to you. How can colleges and universities better support Black male students' mental health and well-being overall? What would you say?
Stop fronting. Just keep it real. You know, I mean, we got to move beyond the performative statements and the performative acts, right? And really actually put money behind campaigns and really create spaces, whether it's affinity spaces, making sure the availability of mental health resources. And I'm talking about out the gate. I'm talking about freshman year. As a matter of fact, not even freshman year, before you get there. You get what I mean? You're paying so much in medical insurance for them anyway. You get what I'm saying? But making that, why is there not a mental health class as an introductory, just like Simmons, where I'm an adjunct, they have like an intro to Boston class, they call it. And it's where you learn about the local area, you learn about the school and things like that. Why don't we have a mental health version of that? You know, something to let individuals know, or a basic crash course in mental health, right? And again, that's because so much of this we like to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, man, what's that movie called? He said, "Show me the money, put money behind it."
Right.
Right? Put resources behind it. Show that you are serious. Particularly the fact that we have a myriad of clinical data that shows that many of our students are coming from underfunded, very humble beginnings,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what they carry into those spaces is much heavier, much complex, and much more challenging, yet they have to perform at the same level. You know what I mean? What are we doing to support individuals who we know both historically and continuously have challenges that many of those institutions, right, fail to want to recognize? And then again, I think consistency too, right? Go beyond just that introductory class. Like I said, do students have a point of contact throughout? You know, NYU, by the way, NYU did this like multi-year study on Black and Brown college like attainment and why we're not applying and so many things. But again, institutional support, All right. Many of our students have to work and have family responsibilities. Are you are you making resources available to them? Right? Are we literally, what is your, and this is just the things that I see again as an adjunct too, like what are your accommodation policies? Are you making that, you know what I mean? Are we making that available to students to let them know, like, oh, you have a diagnosis, yeah, we can help with that. You got ADHD, we can help with that, things like that, versus students who have, again, challenges that are coming in and we have to recognize them, but want to be there, have earned the right to be there, deserve to be there, right? Are we making sure that we're focusing on equity, right? Versus just equality. We were focused on equity in the form of resources and things like that. Institutional support has always lacked, and it's hid behind these, again, these performative campaigns, these performative statements that they'll make. But I always look for the consistency. Where's the consistency? And at the end of the day, where's the bread? Where's the money? Because if it ain't no money behind it, I ain't listening.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for being transparent. I love that. I love that. Mr. Johnson, before we get into representation, can you how can education help individuals advocate more effectively for their own health and wellness? You know, kind of piggybacking off of some
Education help people advocate for their own health and wellness.
right overall more effectively after going to college, after learning all the skills, after learning all the resources. How can one be more equipped to advocate for themselves effectively?
I actually think this is a great example of it. So there's this old phrase, like pull as you climb.
Right.
You know, so as you continue to climb this ladder and you start to make it out of poverty, you know, I was on Section 8, you know what I mean? We was on welfare. We had WIC, you know, my electricity was cut off. I know that life.
Mm-hmm.
I live comfortably now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I create opportunities for other people as I continue to do that. When I have a training or something, I'm going to do a training, I'll bring somebody else in from my community, like, hey, I want you to help me. We're gonna co-facilitate this, right? I'll have people, whether it's a friend of mine or somebody, like, hey, I need you to just answer some calls for me. I need you to create a PowerPoint for me. To me, when I do things like this, like summits online, like this is free. I have one coming up on the 24th. Y'all stay tuned for that. Doc is going to be there. This is my way of giving back to the community. This is my way of giving back. Like, this is free education. You ain't got to go to college. I know it's expensive. Come here, fellowship with us, commune with us. So I think this is one of the ways that we give back. I think volunteering, you know, I coach, you know, in my community. I think those are the ways that we could get the education and we go back and we still teach. You know, my younger cousin found out what I went to school for, and he just changed his major to social work, and he just graduated from SUNY Brockport in New York, and he just graduated with his BSW, and he's going for his MSW, and he reaches out to me all the time, like, yo, how'd you get licensed? How long do I need before I can get licensed, right? So
I love that.
leading by example is a great way, and just sharing this information on platforms like this. So again, I appreciate you and thank you for having me on.
I love that. Can I have two people drop leading by example in the chat, please? Can two people drop in the chat leading by example? Subgada, I want our last topic that we're going to get into, okay, which is, I left it for last because it's important and it's the reason why we are up here. Representation and visibility, okay? Representation and visibility. Yeah, I heard that deep breath. Take it. I heard that deep breath. Take it. Why is representation important in social work, in fitness, in healthcare, and in higher education? Mr. Johnson, you can tap in after your response because I know you're gonna want to tap in after. But once again, SubGod, why is representation important in social work, fitness, healthcare, and higher education overall?
Man, the brother just actually talked about it. I mean, he just basically said it too. Like, seeing is believing, right? My people need to see it.
Right.
They need to see what a black doctor looks like, a black therapist look like. You know what I mean? They need to see what a black professor looks like, right? Right? Because again, how do the concept of like success, right? The concept of succeeding, the concept of leadership. Where can I look at that? But where can I see myself in that, right? And so many of us, right? We can point to someone growing up and be like, I want to be like, I want to be like Mike, right? Remember that back in the days, right? We saw Mike. We saw that, right? To the point where we got on the basketball court, and every time we shot, you was like, you know what I mean? Mike, you know what I mean? Or Kobe, right? And they laugh, but that goes across many things. And also, too, they have to see what healing looks like. They have to see what positive masculinity looks like, right? They have to see these things, because we could talk all day, and guess what? People talked out, right? We talking on TikTok, we talking on this, we talking on that. I need to see it. My people need to see it, right? You could come with my people with $1 million idea. They need to see that, right? We gonna follow you. I need to see you moving, right? I need to see the motion. That's why we call it motion, right? We don't call it talking, we call it motion. We need to see that, right? And that's the thing. So again, we can do a great job of talking these inspirational messages, to our young people, to our other men, right? But they need to see it, right? So that's why both you, Doc, I sing your praise always. You, Brother Johnson down there, and the other brother that was there are so important, because you stand in spaces where many of us don't stand, right? There's somebody that's looking at you that you don't even know is looking at you like, oh yeah, I can do that, right? And my whole thing, just your presence can be challenging to them to now go above and beyond, just by you being you and in a space that not many of us are in.
Did he nail it, Mr. Johnson? He nailed it. Anything you want to add, or he nailed it?
He did. Listen, he took the words low key out of his mouth. I will just say, to piggyback, I remember growing up, when I think about representation and like the visibility that he spoke to, I remember I never seen black men wear suits unless they were going to church.
Or court.
Right? Yeah. The suits look
Church or
different.
court, yeah.
I'm talking about when they look good in the suits.
Okay, yeah.
The suits that was like JoJo said, and they don't fit, and it looked like, bro, you wearing your granddad's suit. Right? Like, so it was nothing that I aspired to. I was like, it was a disconnect. It was a disconnect. And I remember to go back to my point, the story I told earlier about when I was a senior in high school, and I was really ineligible to compete and lost all my scholarships, and I was in that really dark place. And my coach, who was supposed to be coaching me, right? Like, but I couldn't compete. He reached out and he was like, yo, come over. I got the guys over my house, man. They doing college applications. And he was the first person that I saw myself in. Like, I was like, yo, he wears suits. He be fly. He the school counselor. He the administrator. He was the assistant principal. I was just like, yo, he's a cool dude. Like, he be having the cologne on. He be having the suits. I was like, yo, he the first dude I seen wearing a suit that ain't going to church or court. And I started to see myself in him. I was like, dang, I remember he had a Lincoln Navigator. This at the time when ATL came out. To give y'all a little context, I said,
the white joint, the big white joint.
Yo, he when he opened the doors, the little drop step come down. And so this was the first time I started to see myself as somebody that wasn't standing on a street corner. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow, you know what? Maybe I can do that college thing. Maybe I can do that. Like, maybe that is something for me. And I asked him, I was like, what you went to school for? He's like, I went to school for school counseling. I went to the University of Buffalo, and you can do this. And he poured into me. So that's why this is important to me. This is how I give back. Just each one teach one, representation matters. It gives that next generation permission to choose this.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you. As we're going through these questions, you guys, I also appreciate you guys sharing your lived experiences and all the analogies. That's why you guys are here. So thank you so much in advance for sharing all of that. And Sweet Pea, I see you in the chat. Her Divine Alchemy, I see you in the chat. Ms. Mika, I see you in the chat. Ms. Crystal, I see you in the chat. Subgod, I want to continue. How does seeing Black men in leadership and helping professions impact younger generations? Mr. Johnson kind of touched on it, but let me hear from you. Why does that matter? Why is that important?
The brother kind of like he did it. He bodied it at the end. You know what I mean? Like, again, something to aspire to. Again, seeing oneself and someone, right? Also too, like, just for men, sometimes the way, because of our socialization, just competitive. If he could do it, I know I could do it. Yeah, right. Do it. Go ahead, right? But again, it's too, because especially Black men, there are so many narratives that we're combated with. The sense of not being worthy, the sense of not being seen, the sense of like we are nothing. Like, Biggie said it back in the day, you ain't nothing unless you got unless we say you rapping or you got a wicked jump shot. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, that's all we were told, that's the only way that we was gonna make it. You know what I mean? If we rapped or we had a wicked jump shot or whatever the case may be. So again, to see to see individuals in a space now, it's almost like that neural rewiring, right? now we're opening up new neural pathways now. Wait, you mean to tell me I can do that?
Right.
Right. But not only can I could do that, I'm gonna do it my way. You know what I mean? And also too, clearing the path for them. Right. There may be things that like, again, as a male clinician, as a male social worker, trust me, there are things that I have to go through that I'm hoping that because of my experience, because of the things that we've gone through, that maybe the next generation don't. So we also clearing the path for them. You get what I mean? So to know that somebody is in a space that you may not even have realized that you could be in, it's so vital for me. Like, again, I just think that, I just think it's critical for the next generation.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. Mr. Johnson, I want to wake something else up again too. What challenges have you experienced as a Black man working in professional spaces where representation may have been limited? Let's briefly discuss that. When we are working in spaces where representation is desert dry, it ain't there.
I think some of the systems I've run into, like I remember I was working in schools down here in South Florida, and I was working for a Head Start program. I'm sure most of you familiar with Head Start. It's like preschool program. And I was supporting one of the teachers at one of my schools. Down here, you get like assigned to multiple schools. So I had like a dozen schools down here. And one of my schools, it was like a teacher, she was struggling. And she was struggling because she had kids in her class that weren't potty trained. They're supposed to be potty trained, but if you have kids that aren't potty trained, you got to change them.
Right.
So she had like 3 kids that weren't potty trained. And I was like, oh, you got your hands full. Some teachers don't have any kids that aren't potty trained. But the worst part is there was a male teacher in the classroom next door to her. And he had 3 students that weren't potty trained either. And their policy didn't allow him to change the children's diapers. So she had to do it. So she had to do double the work. And I was like, hey, like, how is this fair? Like, I try to advocate for her, like, hey, this is a systems issue. Like, why is Miss Johnson having to change 6 diapers? And while Mr. Smith ain't changing no diapers, like, what's really going on here? And they were like, hey, that's just kind of the way it is. I'm like, yeah, I know. They's like, that's just the way it's kind of always been. I'm like, yeah, we need to update that. We need to change that. Like, this is a systemic issue because I think it's a larger thing in this. It's like a small, it seems like, oh, it's just changing diapers. It's not a big deal, but it's larger because I said, well, why can't the man change these kids' diapers? What are y'all saying?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like what it implied for us as men. Because you're saying something about Mr. Smith, you're saying something about me. So what are you saying? Oh, well, parents they don't really trust the man doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Doing what? Changing the diapers?
Mm-hmm.
And so this thing came up for me and I was really upset about it because I was like, this is how so many Black boys are hurt. This is how so many children are taken advantage of. It's because of this misconception that like men are dangerous and women are safe. How do you trust, Miss Johnson any more than you trust Mr. Smith changing a diaper? Like, what is this? Like, when you look at what's baked into that policy, it's something that I was like, man, this is something we really need to strip away. We need to get rid of this and create something new because this is crazy. This doesn't make any sense to me. And I was really frustrated about that. So I think I look again at some of the systems level things of like what we run into of like being a man in this, like there's more male nurses than there are male social workers. Right? Just to kind of put that in context for you. So we're not really represented in this field. So when we come, sometimes we run into these systems issues where I'm like, I'm supposed to be supporting. The female social workers are helping their teachers change diapers, but I couldn't even help her change the diapers. I wanted to support it. She told me I couldn't do it. That's when I went to leadership. So I think I look at the systems issue and like, this is something that we need to start advocating and hopefully start to see changes made.
I love that. Thank you for providing that example. You kind of we supposed to be leaning in, and you kind of pushed me back in my seat. But you're right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Damn. We gonna continue because he woke that up. Can I have somebody right in the chat? He woke it up. He woke it up. Did he wake that up?
I'm sure did.
Sub God. Let me come back over to you. How can organizations move beyond diversity statements and create truly inclusive environments? Earlier on, you had mentioned the performative. Okay, let's move past the performative. Okay, how can organizations truly move beyond diversity statements and create truly inclusive environments from your perspective?
Well, I mean, one, if we're talking about companies and organizations, right? Look at the data. The data shows that the more diverse that your workforce is, particularly when it looks like the individuals that you are servicing or your customer base, the better they perform, or the better your company performs.
Right.
So if you want to do better, you know better, and if you want to do better, do better. Put the money in. Put the money there. Be consistent. There could be a much more in-depth answer, but I think it's simple. See a need for it. See value in diversity, right? See value in my people, because we've proven it. Understand that we deserve to be in the spaces that we find ourselves in. Focus on destroying that whole idea of us having to work twice as hard.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, real talk at the company, at the institutional level, right? But then some of the things we talked about earlier too, and I kind of like just skirted around it when we talk about things, because even when we talk about like men's mental health month, I want to make sure that it's inclusive of all men, right? Able-bodied men, queer men, things like that. Like, we have to make sure that individuals, and again, this may be more difficult, but like, for instance, what is your reasonable accommodation policy? That's the one I always go to, right? What is that? Is there somebody that's properly trained? And I will tell you honestly, even at in academia with social workers, right? You'd be surprised. And think about something real quick. We're supposed to be like the ones that are on the front line advocating, right? Brother, you took your exam, right? Do you know how hard it is for others to get accommodations on the exam for social workers, right? So that's the thing too. Like, so when we talk about these organizations and stuff like that, like, recognize that, you are fallible just like everybody else. Like, you know what I mean? But I say, if your thing really is making money, okay, we know you're taking the capitalistic view, no problem. And you want to make more and you want to do more. You can't skate around the fact that, the data proves that the more diverse your workforce is, the better your company operate. I mean, that's it. I mean, proof is in the pudding. What Jay-Z said, men lie, women lie, but the numbers don't. The numbers don't lie. You get what I mean? So that's my whole thing. Go beyond the personal narratives. Go beyond the, seek to go beyond the sexist, racist, heteronormative narratives, and really, focus on your bottom line if that's the case. Focus on your bottom line and throw some support around people in your workforce. Or in your school, or whatever the case may be.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. Last question, Mr. Johnson, and maybe you guys both can tap in as well. Why is it important for Black men to be visible in conversations about wellness, mental health, and education overall? And that's there.
Again, it's huge because people gravitate to people that look like them, people that they think will understand them. There was a book written called Why All the Black Folks Sit Together at the Lunch Table, right? That was years and years and years ago. And then I just got the audio book. She wrote another book, like, I don't know, 15 years later or 20 years later or something like that. And it's still the same. Like, the numbers haven't changed. When we go into a room, we're automatically looking for where the other Black folk at? Or if it ain't no Black folk, where the other people of color at? Where can we're trying to connect, because we're designed as creatures to be social creatures, to connect, right? Like, we are not from this land, right? Where we're from, we have way more of a communal identity. So here we're very stratified. Like we talked earlier about, like, a lot of people are disconnected and they just want somebody to talk to, right? Like, I remember being in high school, I get on the RTS bus, a little transit bus, there's some old head talking to me about all his life problems, and I'm like, I pulled a string, like, listen, I'm sorry, Mr. What'd you say your name was? Cornbread? All right, Mr. Cornbread. Well, this is my stop. I gotta go, but it was a pleasure talking to you, right? So I think, like, it's community. Again, like, seeing us, that visibility, it gives some young folks something to aspire to, and not even just young folks. It's folks that's older than me that sometimes be like, yo, I saw your podcast, I saw your panel, I saw that you do the thing, or whatever. I was at the community conversation you let. And I want to do that. Like, I work with some retired professional athletes, and they're looking for what's the next thing for them. And some of them said, this is it. I want to do this. I want to do mental health. Like, I want to work with other people. I want to help support people. 3 men from the NFL within the past year just died by suicide, right? 3 men. So everybody can see, like, a lot of times we aspire to that. Like Sub Guy said earlier, like, everybody when I was young wanted to be like Kobe. or AI, like the real AI, Allen Iverson, right? So I think it just gives them permission to do that. And the last thing I'll say is I was running a group with eighth grade boys, and all of the boys in the group were boys of color, Puerto Rican or black. And I remember I told them that I had cried, and they were like, "What?" And they was like, "Did somebody die?" And I was like, "Nah, I had saw this video and it just moved me." And they was like, "What? Nah, you lying. Say swear to God." I'm like, "Swear to God." And then they started to individually say like, "Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I had cried when I was watching this or that." And like, we kind of chuckled and giggled, but me saying that I did that, it gave them permission to say that they did the same. And it was another way for us to connect.
Right. Right. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Sub God, did he nail it or we good? We could wrap it
Nah,
up.
but brother did what he do. He do. Hey, listen. What can I say to that? No, he's amazing, amazing.
Well, I'm gonna ask you guys this last question. And a couple people in my chat know what I'm gonna ask you. I think you, Sub God, I'm about to ask you, so we'll start off with you first. What is your overall why, as it relates to the reason why you continue to show up, the work that you do? What is your overall why?
I keep it short. I'm paying it forward. It was done for me. You know what I mean? There's a part in the Black Social Workers Code of Ethics that says that I see all of Black people. Every Black person is an extension of my family, and I can't leave my family out there. You know what I mean? And I'm never gonna give up on them. They're beautiful. You know what I mean? They are more than just their struggles, right? They are resilient. They are intelligent. They are just regal people. And I get the privilege. You know what I mean? It's because I get the privilege. And at the end of the day, why not? You know what I mean? I get paid to work with my peoples, and I get paid to work with other amazing folks. So why not?
Right. I love that. Mr. Dre Johnson, your overall why, as the reason why you continue to show up and the great work that you do. What is your overall why?
I think it goes back to the competitiveness that was mentioned earlier. I saw that there was a huge need in my community and communities that look like mine. And I said, why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not me? You know what I'm saying? If not me, then who? When I'm playing football and I start and quarterback get hurt and I play running back and they're like, we need somebody to play quarterback. This is the most important position on the team.
Right.
Who gonna step up? I don't want to. I'm sitting there quietly. They all looking at me. All right, why not me? I step up. You know what I mean? That's just what I do for our community. There was this word that I learned when I was studying abroad in West Africa. I was studying at the University of Ghana, and there's this word that I learned. It's called Ubuntu. And it means I am because we are. And I always say that goes even further than I am my brother's keeper. It really means I am my brother, and my brother is me. And so for me, that's why I do it.
Okay. I love that.
That's the center part of my dissertation, by the way.
Okay.
Connecting Ubuntu to psychodynamic. We gotta talk, brother. We gotta talk. We definitely gotta talk.
I love this. You see,
Doc, I know you about to go. About to go. I got to do something real quick.
Sure.
Because I'm looking at these questions, and I also think about a lot of these questions represent what you do and who you are. You consistently open up your platform for all of us brothers, but also there was the thing about pull as you climb. That was you. Also about what it looks like to look at somebody in a space that you're a Black doctor. There are less than 3% of all doctorate degrees are held by Black people, and I think it's even less for Black men. You get what I'm saying? So, Doc, the fact that you could be talking about whatever and you have a vast amount of knowledge, but you continuously use your platform for us. You continuously give us opportunities to talk our talk and talk the way we need to, because I love the fact that you talk about come authentically. I just want to say, we love you for that. We appreciate you for that. And like I said, man, when you call, I reactivated my account because I'm like, listen, let me hop back on, because I told Doc I would do it. I'm going to hop back on, and then I'm going to deactivate when I'm done. Okay. But whenever you call, I will call running. I will come running, because, brother, we need more like you. But the fact that you are genuine and consistent with it, I just want to say thank you. And, may God continue to cover you.
Amen. Amen. I appreciate you guys so much. And guess what? That is why I continue to show up. So that is my overall why. He answered my overall why for me. That is my overall why, because I see there's a need for people like me, because Sub God can do what I'm doing. Dre Johnson can do what I'm doing. Joe, who had to leave early on, can do what I'm doing. There is a need. Okay. Before we wrap up, Dre Johnson, I know you what they want more of you, and they see more of you. Do you have a live schedule? What you got over on your page?
So come on over to my page, follow me. Coming up, I have on the 24th, it's the last Wednesday of the month, 2 weeks from today at 7 o'clock, same time we started here, 7 o'clock Eastern time. I'm going to be having a panel. It's going to be dope. Definitely come check that out. Dr. Johnson is going to be one of our panelists. It's going to be a super fly panel. We're going to talk about a lot of things. It's going to be not just mental health. It's going to be health. It's going to be some social stuff, what's going on with men, women, and why we act like we ain't liking each other no more, what's going on, everything. We're going to talk about a lot. So follow me here. You can follow me on Instagram, Wellness State LLC. On Instagram, Wellness State LLC on TikTok. You can add me on LinkedIn, Dre Johnson. You'll find me. You can find me on Facebook, wherever you want to connect, whatever you connect at. But yeah, so definitely want to see y'all at my live. And I don't think I'm going to use TikTok. I think I'm going to use Zoom. Just people used to Zoom, so I may use Zoom. So follow me, and all that information is coming out. Last thing I'll say, for all the clinicians that are on, all the mental health professionals that are on, all the Black mental health professionals that are on, I run a group called From Cases to Community for Black folk. And it is a group designed for Black mental health professionals to connect, to do exactly what we're doing here. We meet bi-weekly. And so this Saturday, we're actually going to be meeting on Zoom, where we get a chance to connect, talk about cases, whatever you got going on, just life, how life be life in it. And then we connect in the community. So that's why I was saying, Dr. Johnson, if you're down here in South Florida, you got to connect with us in person, because we take it from the computer to in person when we finish. So for anybody that's out of town, feel free. Y'all can come down. Y'all can write that off as a tax write-off. I'm not a tax expert, but you talk to your people. Y'all come down and commune with us for sure.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, sir. I'm continue to show up, sir. Continue to be great. I'm gonna drop you down, okay? Sub God, I know you're about to deactivate your page, but once you reactivate your page, what can we look forward to? What you got going on your page?
So for anybody, you can find me on LinkedIn. Also, for my little hiatus that I'm taking from the internet, j.stewart774 at Outlook. Please feel free to email me. And I'm taking out, because, PhD program, I'm starting the dissertation proposal, so I need to focus on that. And plus, my dissertation involves a research team in Uganda, so I'll be doing a lot of traveling back and forth, and I really need to focus things like that. But once I come back, there will be a hood therapy kind of video on YouTube, TikTok, and all the different platforms, where we basically take mental health and simplify it for the regular brother on the street. You get what I'm saying? There will be, my practice will be up and running by then, hopefully within the next 3 or 4 months. And there'll be a lot more content coming out, but all mental health related, but all just, again, mental health. What is it? Mental health for the regular person. I think there's a lot of Cheyenne Bryants out there right now.
We're not going there. Okay, so we wrapping it up, and we keeping it. We keeping it for licensure. We keeping it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
what we coming with. That's what we coming with. The mental health for the real person. So we breaking it down, and we going to the streets with it now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So once again, continue to show up, continue to be great. Thank you for the work that you're doing, and good luck on your dissertation. You got this, okay?
Thank you, my brother.
I appreciate you. I'm gonna drop you down.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Dre Johnson, I see you in the chat too. Y'all, we gonna wrap it up, okay? Because you know what I gotta go do. I gotta go eat. I'm hungry. I gotta go eat. I'm hungry. This turned out great. I appreciate all the comments in the chat. Miss Mika, I saw you in the chat. You were trying to make me break character. I saw you, Miss Mika. Miss Keena, it happened today because of some scheduling stuff. There was some other folks who couldn't make it on Tuesday, so I switched it to today. I'm big on pivot, so we had to pivot, so that's why we're doing it today. But normally, y'all see Dr. Johnson on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. I want to tell you guys, thank you so much. You guys are the reasons why I continue to show up. You guys are the reasons why I continue to host these important conversations. So you guys have a great night. Y'all gonna see me these TikTok streets, and y'all gonna see me next Tuesday, 7 p.m. for office hours with Dr. Johnson. Can I have some deuces in the chat before I go? Candace, have some quick deuces in the chat before I go.
Yeah. Yeah, rhythm for the rhythm for the rhythm.
Dr. Mo, I see you, Dr. Mo.
Get it in, 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 get it in. Get it in, get it in, get it in.
Miss Crystal, I saw that comment you left earlier on. I appreciate you, and I hope you're doing well. Okay, and I guess what, and take the time that you need. But I appreciate the comments you were dropping in the chat. I see you, Miss Keena. I see you. The Rehab Lens. I see you. Dre Johnson. I see you. We out. I gotta go eat. I'm hungry.
From Island roots to Miami sun, scholars mind the work well done. Healthcare vision steady.
I appreciate you. I see you, Rehab.